Okay, the next thing that we're going to look at in factorising is trinomials. Now, you can see that trinomials starts with tri, that indicates it's something to do with 3. Well, a trinomial looks something like this. Okay, so it's got 3 terms. It's got a x squared term, it's then got an x term, and it's got a number term, x squared plus 7x plus 12. Now, if I, just as an aside, go back to FOIL method for a second with x plus 3x plus 4. Using FOIL method, the first would be x squared, x times x, the outsides would be x times 4, 4x, the insides would be 3 times x, 3x, and the last would be 3 times 4, and that's 12. I can then tidy up the middle, 4x plus 3x is 7x, and that gives me x squared plus 7x plus 12. Now remember that factorising is the opposite process of expansion of brackets. It's when you reintroduce the brackets. So we know that if we were to reintroduce the brackets here, we would get x plus 3, x plus 4. Okay, so if I start with x squared plus 7x plus 12, we quite clearly see that that would give you the brackets x plus 3x plus 4. Okay, now a quick way of thinking about that and doing that is we need to get two numbers that multiply together to get 12 and add together to give 7. Two numbers that multiply together to give 12 and add together to give 7. So some numbers that multiply together to give 12 could be 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Because 1 times 12 is 12, 2 times 6 is 12, and 3 times 4 is 12. However, the only one that also adds together to give 7 in the middle is 3 and 4. 3 and 4. So we then write that as x plus 3, x plus 4. Okay, so routine for these questions then is that we need to find two numbers that multiply together to give the number at the end. That's 21, but they must also add together to give 10. So, two numbers that multiply to give 21 add together to give 10. So, some numbers that multiply together to give 21. So, I could have 7 times 3 or 1 times 21. Okay, so it would be 7 and 3 because 7 and 3 is also 10. So, that would be x plus 7, x plus 3. Let's just double check if that works. When we re-expand it out, x times x, x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 7 times x is 7x. And 7 times 3 is 21. X squared plus 10x plus 21. Okay, it worked. Now, incidentally, if you'd have written x plus 3x plus 7, that would also be fine. Okay. So, example 3. X squared plus 9x plus 20. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to give 20, add together to give 9. So some numbers that multiply to give 20 could be 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5, but it will be 4 times 5 because 4 plus 5 is also 9. So x plus 4, x plus 5. So remember, it's two numbers that multiply together to give the end number and add together to give the middle number. Two numbers that multiply give 20, add together give 9 is 4 and 5. Example 4. Q squared plus 6q plus 9. Okay, two numbers that multiply together to give 9 and add together to give 6. Two numbers that multiply give 9, add together give 6 is 3 and 3. So that's q plus 3 bracket q plus 3. Example 5. Okay, c squared plus 11c plus 30. Okay, two numbers that multiply to give 30, add together to give 11. Take your time, that's 5 and 6. C plus 5, C plus 6. Example 6. T squared plus 7t plus 6. Two numbers that multiply give 6, add together to give 7. Well, two numbers that multiply give 6, that could be 1 and 6, or 2 and 3. But it's definitely 1 and 6 because that also adds together to give 7. So that would be t plus 1 bracket t plus 6, example 7. G squared plus 8g plus 15. Two numbers that multiply together give 15, add together to give 8 is 5 and 3, g plus 5, g plus 3, example 8. N squared plus 14n plus 40. Okay, two numbers that multiply give 40, add together give 14, take your time, that's 10 and 4, 10 plus 4 is 14, and 10 times 4 is 40. Okay, let's try one slightly different, maybe a wee bit trickier. X squared plus 7x minus 18. Okay, this time we're looking for two numbers that multiply together to give not 18, but minus 18, and add together to give 7. Okay, so the two numbers multiply together to give minus 18 and add together to give 7. Okay, so the result of multiplying together gives me a negative result. Now, if we think about it, if you multiply together two positive numbers, you will get a positive result. If you multiply together two negative numbers, you also get a positive result. So a plus times a plus, but a negative times a negative is also a plus. If you multiply together a positive and a negative, or for that matter a negative and a positive, you'll always get a negative result. Okay, so what we can see is that when you multiply two positives or two negatives, you get a positive result. But if you multiply together a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive, you get a negative result. A quick way of thinking about that is if the signs are the same, when you multiply together, you get a positive result. But if the signs are different and you multiply together, you get a negative result. Now, we're multiplying together and ending up with an answer which is minus 18. Now that tells me definitely that if it's a negative result, then the signs need to be different. Because if you multiply two numbers together to give a negative result, that can only come from the signs being different. If the signs are the same, you always get a positive result. So we know that the signs are definitely different. Okay, now next thing is let's think about numbers that multiply together to give 18. That could be 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Okay, so I know that one of these combinations will work. I think no matter where I put a plus or a minus, the 1 and 18 will not be suitable, because no matter where I put a plus and a minus, I'm not going to add together to give 7 there. And for the same reason, I think I can also rule out 3 and 6. But for 2 and 9, I think that'll work, and I just need to be careful. So it needs to be, one of these needs to be a plus, and one needs to be a minus. But they also need to add together to give plus 7, so that would be plus 9 and minus 2. Plus 9 minus 2 is plus 7, and plus 9 times minus 2 is minus 18. So it's x plus 9, x minus 2. Let's take down example 10. Example 10, g squared plus 5g minus 14. Okay, so we're multiplying together to get a negative result. Therefore, I know for a fact that the signs must be different. So let's write that down. Because if the signs are different, I will definitely get a negative result. But if the signs are the same, I'll definitely get a positive result. Okay, so I know that the signs must be different. Okay, I can then think about numbers that multiply together to give 14. That would be 1 and 14 and 2 and 7. So what pair is suitable? Well, no matter where I put a plus or a minus, I'm never going to add together 1 and 14 or subtract 1 and 14 together to give 5, so that wouldn't be suitable, but I think I can work with the 2 and the 7. One needs to be a plus, one needs to be a minus. So it would be plus 7 and minus 2. G plus 7, G minus 2. Okay, example 11. P squared plus 9p minus 22. Okay, so I multiply together to get a negative result. So the signs need to be different. Okay, so combinations for 1 and 22 could be 1 and 22 or 2 and 11. Now, no matter where I put a plus or a minus, I can't organise 1 and 22 to get 9, but I can work with 2 and 11. Be careful, p plus 11, p minus 2. 11 times minus 2, minus 22, and 11 take away 2, that's 9. Okay, example 12. Okay, let's try another. Q squared plus 10q minus 24. Okay, so we multiply together to get a negative result. So that means that the two numbers that multiply together to give that negative result must have had different signs, plus and a minus. Okay, so if we think about 24, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Okay, so we need to organise these so that they add together to give 10. So 1 and 24 is not suitable, 3 and 8 is not suitable. Now, is it possible to work with 2 and 12 to end up with 10? Yes, it is. And 4 and 6 to get 10, it also is. So we really need to be careful here. So the signs need to be different. Okay, so we've had plus 4 and minus 6, or minus 6 and plus 4. That wouldn't work. Let's try 2 and 12. Plus 12 and minus 2. That works. Okay, so 12 times minus 2 is minus 24, and 12 minus 2 is 10. Example 13. M squared plus 13m minus 30. Okay, so the result of multiplying is negative, that's the product. So the product is minus 30, the product being the result of multiplying two numbers together. It's a negative result. So the signs need to be different. Okay, for 30, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. Okay, we know that the signs need to be different. So what ones can I rule out immediately that won't add up together to give 13? I don't think 1 and 30 will do. 2 and 15, that looks like a possibility. As does 3 and 10, but not 5 and 6. Okay, so two numbers that multiply together to give minus 30 and add together to give 13. Okay, so could it be plus 3 and minus 10? That doesn't work. Could it be minus 3 and plus 10? That doesn't work. Okay, what about plus 15 minus 2? 15 times minus 2 is minus 30, and 15 minus 2 is 13. That works. Final answer, m plus 15, m minus 2. Okay, let's try two more examples. Example 14. And let's go for 2m squared plus 16m minus 40. Okay, so remember that the first rule of factorising is to look for the highest common factor. Okay, so from 2, 16 and 40 I can take 2, so that would be 2 lots of m squared plus 8m minus 20. Okay, I can now do my trinomial bit from here. Okay, so the product is negative, so the signs are going to be different. Let's think about two numbers that multiply, give 20 minus 20, so combinations could be 120, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. Okay, so I need to organise these together so they add together to give 10. So 1 and 20 won't do, 4 and 5 won't do, that's 2 and 10. So I need to organise these so that they add together to give 8, so it's going to be plus 10 and minus 2. Now, don't forget that there's a 2 at the front, that needs to be included. That was my highest common factor in the first instance. Okay, final one, example 15. Let's go for 3g squared plus 12g minus 36. Okay, can I take a highest common factor again? Yes, I can. From 3, 12 and 36, I can take 3 bracket g squared plus 4g minus 12. Okay, I can now do the trinomial bit here. Two numbers that multiply together to give minus 12 and that together give 4. So we multiply together to give a negative result. Signs need to be different. Okay, so numbers that multiply give 12, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Okay, to get 4 in the middle, I can't use 1 and 12, can't use 3 and 4, but I can definitely use 2 and 6. Let's just make sure we get our order right. The signs need to be different. Add together give 4 plus 6 minus 2. 6 times minus 2 is minus 12, 6 minus 2 is 4. But don't forget that there's a 3 at the front.